Customer brought us this vehicle in non-running condition, new carburetor installed, have an electric fuel pump, and new valve cover gaskets because the old ones were completely gone, and we're going to hear this thing run. Working on the 72 AMC today. A couple of issues you run into on these old vehicles is that all these bolts down here that hold this thing together are all seized up, feeling like they're going to break. One, hard to see down there, was already missing before we started on it. There's where the thermostat sat. You can see how delicious that was. Where's that little thermostat, Dave?
Oh, it's an UFO. I threw it out. Here, let me get it.
Look at that. An unidentified nasty object.
Yeet.
But this thing got a new ignition system basically in it last week. Has a new carburetor installed previously. We have all sorts of new brake components getting ready to go on the car. We have all these wonderful parts and pieces ready to go on the car. So trying to make this thing where it will be good enough to suffice for road trips up to the hot rod events in Gatlinburg and things like that. So trying to make some big progress on it this week. So working on the 72 Ambassador, ran into yet another weird issue. So if you see the finish of this new caliper here, it's been shop peened. Basically they took an old one because no one makes new calipers for, you know, this kind of car. But they actually shop peened this entire surface, and you can see here we're trying to, you know, basically get it back smooth so the brake line will seal up good against it, and you can see how deep some of these imperfections are. So just one of those kind of weird things you run into sometimes working on old vehicles. Here's this beautiful, nasty, wonderful water pump, and what in the world is that? And sitting at a nice 57 right now, 0 parts per million. You can probably hear it kind of roaring back there in the background. But we've been making progress on the AMC. We've now got new brakes done, new shocks are in, new ball joints are in, brake lines are in, and ran into another weird issue. Replacing heater hoses and such, and it's kind of hard to see it, but down over there, that's your water pump outlet, and it is a 1-inch, and where it has to go back to the heater core over here to circulate is 3/4. So we've got to get 2 pieces of hose and a reducer coupling. Oh, we also got the brake master cylinder in and plumbed up. And next thing we got to do, we got to finish heater core hoses, oil change, and then once it's got some fresh oil in it, we're doing a coolant flush. Then we've got rear brakes, rear suspension, and brake lines. Hey! Ring that bell.
It's stuck. Yeah, I'm gonna have to release the brakes on it.
Here's an inside look at the rear brakes of a 1972 AMC Ambassador. This drum popped right off. Other side appears to be seized, like the shoes are either somewhat bonded to the inside of the drum, or perhaps it's got the cylinder might be extended and not returning like it should, causing excess friction in the drum not to come off. But regardless, we're gonna replace all this stuff, get this thing working properly. Alright, back in the Mighty Bear shop. Dave said he was working on the rear brakes, but he's not over here. I didn't see him outside anywhere. Where is this guy at? Got a whole bunch of tools over here. Hang on a second. I heard something. Oh, look! There's Dave!
Oh, hey. What's going on?
Dave, are you having the most fun in the entire world right now?
I could use a pillow.
Yeah? At least you got some company. It looks like there's some spiders that have taken up residence down there at some point.
I've only seen a few.
Uh-huh.
Like the black and red ones. Are they okay?
Yeah, they're the most delicious.
Okay.
So this water pump, you can see where the harmonic balancer is hitting on that boss, and while so today we got the AMC back on the ground. We were getting ready to install some serpentine belts and actually fire this thing up and drive it out of the shop under its own power. We still have to go through the fuel system, but we're going to get it out today because we're waiting on some other parts to come in, work on another vehicle, and trying to roll the belt on. Notice that the crank pulley would only go about a half a turn, was coming to a dead stop. So trying to work backwards to what we'd done between when it ran last, figured out that the new water pump that was special ordered for this thing, because nobody carries certain parts for these old AMCs, has a casting defect, and the water pump has two spots that are actually hitting, or I should say the harmonic balancer is actually hitting the water pump. So, as has been the story of this car's life here, we take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Any thoughts to add, Dave?
Not anything you can put on YouTube.
Alright, we'll just bleep this next part out. Let it loose. That could be potentially clearanced. The bigger issue right now we're also seeing is that the water pump is actually spaced incorrectly because the belt alignment is way off. That might as well be miles away from where it should be. So while this water pump physically bolted to the car and the hoses were in the correct orientation, this has got to be for a slightly different model or has some kind of major manufacturing defect for the spacing to be off. So we got to find a different water pump for this thing. I am moving a little slow this week, but I'll show you this before I clock out for the day here. Transmission is in, installed, drive shaft's in, everything's done except for adjusting the TV cable and filling it with transmission fluid. Dave is off this week, part of why it's taking me longer because I'm doing it by myself, but he is coming in tomorrow to help me with that TV cable adjustment and make sure we get the transmission fluid filled correctly. So I I got the new electric fuel pump here. I got to put that in tomorrow morning as well. But this thing should be running, driving, and ready for the exhaust shop by end of day tomorrow. Well, she is on the ground. Transmission should be good. I gotta double check it fluid wise, but I'm out of time right now. This is our big issue. This is leaking from the rear main. I wasn't sure if it was a rear main leak or if it was from the front of the transmission pump. So we have been working on this 72 AMC for a while, going through a mechanical restoration on it. All new brakes, suspension, fuel system, and recently a transmission rebuild. Now the car does still need some exhaust work. It is running with an open header on the passenger side, so it doesn't sound the most appealing right now, but this will be the longest drive this car has made in, who knows, 20 years or so. Just took it on a short little 1 mile test drive, messed with the kickdown cable a little bit, took it on a longer test drive, and now we're going to see if it can pass the McDonald's test. First we got to do is fish out this seat belt over here. Just lap belts in this car. And then fire this thing up. Here we go. Gonna drive this thing to McDonald's. Thing I'm super happy about. I was kind of worried this thing would be fogging for mosquitoes. This is probably the longest this car has ran since we've had it. Nice and clear back there. Back into third. Just rolling. Oh, going too fast. Slow it down. And there we are, the Golden Arches. Our destination. Here we are. We made it. Because apparently McDonald's isn't doing refills now. I asked for a refill and they just gave me a whole second drink. So there's your pro tip. If you want 2 McDonald's drinks, order one, drink half of it, ask for a refill, and you get a whole second drink for free. But, made it back. Car did great. We're up to 21,266.3 miles. So about an 8 mile round trip. This car has driven about 11 miles today. Just probably 11 miles more than it's turned in the last 17 years. Alright, I gotta turn the idle down a little bit, but